Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Vocally Distant.
Hey, welcome to Vocally Distant, our 2020 podcast. I'm Carmen Jordan.
I'm Corinne Keller.
I'm Haley Brewer, and today we're going to be discussing how the global pandemic and doing virtual learning has affected schools and students.
So I feel like you can't have a conversation about school without talking about mental health. I think mental health is a huge part of learning and education in general, and I feel like it's not talked about enough.
And the social aspect. Going to school, it isn't just about going to class and doing your assignments and keeping up with work. Like, for some people, they don't even know what their teachers look like if they're just communicating through text and emails and stuff. And you really lose that emotional aspect of being in class that makes it more engaging. And for some kids, they just loathe learning because they have to just drag away at the computer every day, and it becomes a desk job at your house. And it's like, what?
Yes, and I think that us working from home is causing a lot more stress and problems, and we're bringing for some people, a very negative thing in their life, because school can be very negative for some kids home, and I think that they're having a hard time separating the two. And also, I think a lot of kids are just turning in things to get a grade, and we're not actually learning as much because we don't go to school all the time. We're not always on Zoom with our teachers. We're expected to do 7 hours of work when we would usually be at school doing that. And it just makes it a lot more difficult, I think, for some kids.
I've been homeschooled my whole life. These 2 years, junior and senior year, are the first years I've gone to a public school. So I'm used to making my own schedule and figuring out my own time frames. So I know what works for me, but even with the pandemic, learning completely online is new for me. I think it is taxing on a teacher's mind as well. They're used to being in the classroom, seeing the students and being able to be in person every day, and that's the way that they're used to teaching. And teaching is different than just being on your own and learning, so they're used to a whole method. And so now with everything being online, they have to relearn how to teach. They have to relearn their methods, and some teachers aren't tech savvy at all, and now they're having to learn how to use the technology, and this is something that they didn't sign up for. And I know a lot of teachers are either quitting or they don't want to teach anymore because this isn't what they signed up for. It's not what they want to do.
And I think that not only are students trying to learn, it's teachers trying to learn how to do a new curriculum, and it affects the students because if you have a teacher who it honestly feels like it's their first year teaching again, and they don't know what they're doing, how are you supposed to know what you're doing?
But to shift from immediately in-person, in-class learning to everything being online, I don't think a single teacher could be prepared for that. And it was a lot of pressure on schools to try to figure that out on their own.
I think it's also kind of a beautiful thing, like having to deal with all of this is awful, but it's the learning curve on like humans in general. And I think it's just kind of cool, like watching people as a whole, like all have the same experience, and like none of this is new for everyone, like teachers, students, high school students, preschool students, college students. Like even though there is an age gap and all of this new stuff, like we're all coming together and learning how to do it. So like it's different because we're all going through it together, and so no one's alone in it, and so we're all having to learn and figure it out together, and it's kind of like a unity thing.
And like you're saying, that very beautiful human process of how even in the most unfortunate and unpredictable circumstances, it's human nature to be able to adapt and to be able to change. And I think the fact that we're all still here and we're all still standing and we're making it to school, we're wearing masks, we're making it work, it just proves that point of human resilience in the long term. And I think in the long term, we can't predict how long COVID's going to be. Maybe we'll be sitting here wearing masks doing the same thing next year. Who knows? It's especially scary being seniors because we don't know what college is going to mean, if we can apply, or if we're going to be freshmen in college sitting at a computer screen. Nobody wants that, but we'll find out, and it's going to be a learning process either way.
Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you guys next time. I hope you guys are staying safe and healthy.
We'll see you guys in our next podcast.
That's all, folks. See you next time on Vocally Distant.